What's good, my roadies? Randy, the REI Rockstar today, and I'm just going to straight say it here. Your direct mail stinks. That's right, I said it. Your direct mail is absolutely disgusting, terrible, and that's why it goes into the trash when your motivated seller receives it. So in this presentation, I'm going to show you some list data techniques to use to freshen up those response rates, increase your conversions. So let's get right into it. If you don't already know about me, check out the blog. It's the reirockstar.com. There you can sign up for a newsletter, get a bunch of free tools that'll help you flip real estate and get into real estate investing. So why does your direct mail stink and how to fix it? In terms of real estate, you have to send out marketing. Everybody knows this. You have to send out marketing. You have to get in front of motivated sellers. And one of the ways to do that is to send out postcards to motivated sellers. So I'm going to show you what you're going to learn here. The first thing is, what is a true motivated seller? Not just what you've learned from quote unquote gurus, but a true motivated seller. And I'm going to be dropping a ton of nuggets along the way. The next thing is why sending direct mail the old way is terrible. It stinks. It's outdated, and how to upgrade it. The next thing is part of the solution, just a portion of it, is what is list stacking? It's a hot term right now. I'm going to show you what it is, and I'm going to show you why it's the future of direct mail. After that, why you need to know this now more than ever, because there's some new kids on the block. No, not the 1980s boy band, but rather some big players that have stepped in the last 5 to 6 years, and you need to implement this. And then finally, what the simple solution is. And I happen to have a company that I've aligned with and I've been utilizing in my business, and I'm happy to share it with you and show you how it works and everything. The bottom line will be the results and outcomes, and of course, how to save 20% by using this data and increasing your, again, response rates and your conversion rates. So as an added bonus at the end, guys, I'll show you two mind-blowing mail marketing bonus nuggets. Try saying that 2 times fast. That will increase the ROI even more, so that if you're just going to be spending money on lists, why not maximize those lists? So let's move on. What's a true motivated seller? Guys, problems plus reduced options equals a motivated seller, right? So the problems plus reduced amount of options is a motivated seller. And I've came up with a slogan here. It says, I've got 99 problems, but listing ain't one, right? So they can't list. That's not one of their issues. Otherwise, if they can just list the home, they're not going to have to be reaching out to you. And they have to be a true motivated seller, not just somebody with one, right, motivation, but multiple motivations if you can. So one of the mistakes that I see investors make, especially when they first get started, is they'll go out and they hear, hey, buy a list, right? Get a list, get some leads of bankruptcy or eviction or expired listings or what is it, high equity, free and clear, things like that. Great, that's awesome. That's a step in the right direction, so you're not sending out blanket mail, right? You want to have a high response rate when you send out direct mail. So for that reason, a true motivated seller is somebody who cannot list on the MLS, right? And has one or more, hopefully three or more of these across the board, right? Somebody who's in foreclosure and had a death in the family, that kind of stuff. That's a motivated seller. That's the person that the stars have aligned and you can help. So let's talk a little bit about direct mail just to kind of set a foundation in terms of why individual companies still use direct mail, both from small businesses to large mid-cap businesses as well. And that's because the response rate is still pretty decent considering other mediums, even modern mediums like paid search. So you can see here in a report in June 2017 that for prospects and total household, direct mail still gets about a 5.1% response rate. Now, the 5.1% represents those who've done business with these companies. So someone who's done business with the company, they send out direct mail and they get a response rate. But even prospecting direct mail gets a 2.9%, you know. So out of 1,000 direct mail pieces, you're talking 29 potential response rates. Now, this is for broad across all industries, right? So let's take a look at broad in all industries in terms of their ROI. So again, you can see that direct mail does get a pretty good return on investment in terms of 29% here. You can see that, for somebody spending X amount of dollars, they can expect to get about 29% right back out. And that's great. They're not doubling their money, right? But they're getting some kind of return, which is justified. Okay. So now, again, this is across all mediums in terms of marketing, So let's take a look at some benchmarks here. So business to business and business to customer, if we just look at business to customer, a more percentage that's in line with our industry would be this here. So business to customer, using a postcard as an example, we're looking at a 1.3% response rate. And that's okay. That's pretty good. You'll actually hear folks when you talk about direct mail, 1% response rate is expected, right? Um, Now, there's some things that we can do in terms of getting the right list and getting the right message in front of the potential client that will help increase those rates. And it's not uncommon for us to be back up to 5 or even 6% response rates, especially if you can do something special, which is personalize the direct mail. So here's another nugget here, guys. If you can personalize your direct mail in terms of that postcard using a first name, the actual address, maybe a Google Maps picture of the actual home that you're interested in, that's going to get you a higher response rate, right? Now, response rate is one thing, but converting that is yet another, right? I want to show you why direct mail still right now stinks and it's in the tanker, right? And why direct mail response rates have been just dropping and dropping. So take a look at, shout out to Trevor Mauch here from Investor Carrot. They did a study and they found that, sending out a couple hundred postcards probably won't get you a deal. And this was a quote from, I believe, Brad Chandler, who mentioned that they're typically only seeing, that's right, 0.5 to 1.5% of the leads convert at around 3%, right? And that's not great at all, right? So in terms of that, you have to be different. You got to use a strategy that's going to work to really push that response rate up and get it back to where it needs to be, right? So one solution of that is something called list stacking. It's a hot key term right now for investors across the United States and here in the US. And individuals are finally getting around to it. So list stacking is pretty straightforward. Sorry, I had to put these pancakes in. They look so delicious. But list stacking is taking and cross-referencing seller data from your lists and trying to find multiple matches. In other words, the more matches that you find for John Smith across those lists, the more motivation, right? And also something even probably more important, the better timing, right? Because we don't know exactly when that person's going to come around. And sometimes our success is literally just showing up. Sometimes our success with direct mail is literally just the timing was right for them. It wasn't necessarily the color of the postcard. And that's another big mistake investors make in the beginning is they'll get so discouraged because they didn't do the list stacking and apply this method, right? They sent out blanket mail. They might have looked at cash transactions or hot zip codes. They send out the mail and they get zero response or 0.5% response. And half of those are individuals that say, take me off your mailing list because it's not the right timing for that particular seller. So, you want to make sure that you're applying at least list stacking, that after you do your zip code and your county research in terms of, the sales price, median sales price, and then the hot zip codes, you want to apply list stacking. Buy several lists, go through them, sift through them, append them, and get that data stacked. And this is actually the future of direct mail, guys. So the reason why your direct mail stinks is for those reasons. This is why you're not getting the response rates and you're getting discouraged just with direct mail. Set aside AdWords, set aside bandit signs. With direct mail, you can bring it back to life. And it's the future of direct mail in our industry. We still have competitors, guys. We still have the bandit signs out there. We still have the franchise companies that are, we're competing with them, right? Do this now. Implement this in your business now. Stay ahead of the game because, again, this is a hot key term, and I wanted to do a video and just educate you about this so you can be more successful with your direct mail. Why is this so important? Well, the reason this is so important now more than ever is there's some new kids on the block. Billions of dollars are coming into venture capital. Billions. From OfferPad to Open Door and Knock. You've probably heard of Open Door. And here's an interesting statistic. Yeah, this may not sound like much, but it's grown quite a bit. If you take some time to pause the video, read through this little deal here, you'll see that that 6 million homes were bought and sold a year ago. And Open Door did 60,000. Now I've done the math. That's less than 1%, right? But in the next 4 years, they'll hit 4%, right? So they're gonna 10x or 100x that and get it to a percentage, a 1%. And 4 years after that, who knows? Maybe it'll be at 6%. 4 years after that, it may be much, much larger. And that's just Open Door, or excuse me, Zillow. So Zillow is going to come in and dominate in terms of that. So when you're talking about these new companies coming in, you definitely have to keep your thumb on them. I mean, check out Zillow stock just jumping up right here. This is as of February 2019, coming in just blowing up right here, guys. And that part of that is the investment in stepping into taking care of iBuyer purchasing homes directly from the public. So don't you wish there was a way to bring your lists back from the dead, get your direct mail, from zombie land into happy mail? Absolutely. You want to do that with a prediction. What if you could make a prediction on when the homeowner will likely sell? In other words, predict the home sale before it happens. And what if your message could get in front of those homeowners? The simple solution is Geopoint data. I've aligned myself with this company recently, and the results have been absolutely amazing. Geopoint data is basically a company that utilizes predictive data for real estate. They build algorithms and they predict the likelihood of somebody is going to sell. They do this through data stacking and pre-filtering before you buy the list. So you can get non-stack data from other competitors or from them, but the goal here is to buy the stack data. And the best part is they also offer skip tracing and appending of both emails and phone numbers. You can see here they offer up to 10 cell phone numbers, 2 landline numbers. And this is why I've worked with them. So check this out. The data is constantly updated. People move, change phone numbers, all that sort of stuff. So you can always be rest assured the data is new. They've got nationwide coverage in all 50 states and absolutely amazing Apple service. Like if you get in touch with these guys, they're going to answer any and all of your questions. They're going to help you upload your list and do everything, red carpet treatment. And the best part is it's not expensive. That's probably what you're thinking. That's what I'd want to ask, right? But let me word it this way. It will cost you more money not to work with them. Let me say that again, it will cost you more money not to work with Geopoint data, right? And I'll point those reasons out here in a moment. Look how affordable their purchase of their leads are. You're talking 5 cents to 65 cents a lead. From their cleanest data to their fully skip traced and appended data, 65 cents, which by the way, obviously the more you spend on each lead, the better your response rate and therefore your conversion rate. And here's another thing is they offer, skip tracing, right? That is pay per match. So you can take your data you have now or their data and add in skip tracing that you only pay for the matches, right? Most of these companies out there that offer skip tracing will offer this service, but you're going to pay for all of the hits regardless if the phone number comes up, right? So the bottom line is here's the outcome, guys. You're going to have increased response rates, increased conversions, better sales mojo because you're going to have a higher conversion rate. And you're not going to just have your sales team, especially for those of you who've hired out, your sales team taking no's and no's and no's, and eventually they're so bummed out that when they get one good lead, they ruin that lead because they're just so used to people saying no. So your sales mojo comes back, your increased ROIs, which equals more money, and your increased gross and net profit margins. I mean, they're going to skyrocket just based on this one little change. The foundation needs to get fixed, guys, right? And so another benefit is obviously the client satisfaction. You're going to be talking to more people who actually need this and their results. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how easy this is. I'm going to go ahead and log in and show you how easy it is to get the list, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so here we are at the Geopoint data website. Use the link underneath my video to go and get the discount, by the way, of what I'm about to show you here. So there's a link underneath the YouTube video you can click on. At the top of the website, simply select Data Lists. You can choose a non-stacked list. It's a little bit cheaper on price, but again, guys, not the best ROI and response, and therefore the conversion rate, not that great. So choose Stacked and go ahead and select Build Your Own List. You can see the pricing here, 9 cents to as much as 30 cents, and it's reduced in terms of volume. Now I happen to always choose the first option, which is to include cell phones, landlines, as well as emails. The next step, especially for you beginning investors, you can clearly see here that you're able to choose county, cities, and zip code. So let's imagine I wanted a zip code here in the Phoenix market, Maryville 85033, and let's say here in Scottsdale 85268, right? I want absentee owner, owner occupied, but here's the big, factor here with Geopoint. You can choose motivation factors, either all matching or one by one matching. What I mean by that is you can see these selections here. You can choose something like that the home is vacant, and not only is the home vacant, but the owner has bad credit. What it'll do is only select leads in these zip codes that are absentee owner, owner occupied, that meet both of these criteria. I want single family and townhomes, but I'm not concerned with 1 or 2 story or the fact that it's a fourplex. I'm going to choose 1,000 leads because that's within my budget of 260 bucks, right? And then I'm going to choose submit here. Now, before I show you that submission, I'm going to show you this advanced filter here. This is, again, so powerful because you can choose minimum sale date and maximum sale date. So let's say you wanted to avoid the real estate boom of 2004 to 2008, and you don't want any of that data from that time because those may not have equity. You can avoid that. You can purchase prior to it or after it. Let's say that you are a buy and hold investor and there's a certain price range you want to stay in, so your cap rate makes sense. You can choose that on the actual market value. Let's say you want to take that a step further and you go, I don't want to deal with repairs. I want more turnkey. I only want properties from 2008 to 2012, right? Because those are going to have less maintenance long term, or at least in the short term until they get older. So you can actually do, year built, change that to what you need. Now, I'm not going to show you any filtering from that because most companies have some type of advanced filters, but the real magic happened here where there's this sort of motivating flags is what they call them, right? Another thing that's great too, guys, another nugget here, it's already do not call DNC certified. So you don't have to worry about compliance on this because they've already done that for you. So here's my budget, $260. I'll have the best chance to get an ROI on this direct mail list, right? To send out a nice postcard or yellow letter. And all I have to do is select submit. Now here's what's cool about your purchase too. Another cool thing about Geopoint. Have you ever thought to yourself, hey, I'm going to buy this list, right? And I'm going to go buy a list 6 months later after you've exhausted mailing to a list and thought to yourself, wow, what if I already bought these leads and they're still in there and I've mailed to that person, who knows, 5, 6, 7 times. What they'll automatically do, guys, is when you make this purchase, they'll actually remember your email address and they'll tie it in and so that you will not be purchasing the same leads. They'll exclude the same leads if you check the box for it. And it's not here now because we haven't made our purchase, but you can actually do that as you purchase your second, third, so on and so forth time. But you can see another cool thing here is there's only 5 records available for this. And I did that on purpose because I want to show you that right now we couldn't buy 1,000 leads in this 2 zip codes if we wanted to, right? So it's a little too broad or a little too conservative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I'll be okay with matching either vacant or low credit, but not both, right? So I'm going to hit submit again. And so long as there's 1,000 leads, it will extract those 1,000 leads. Then what it's going to do is take you to the checkout. It's as simple as that, guys. Here is a super powerful list that brought your data back from the dead. You can simply purchase it here, right? And then immediately set up your direct mail, okay? So I want to show you something. This company also does skip tracing with the data that you might already have. So for that reason, come up here to the top, click on skip tracing. If you have a list, you can go ahead and upload that list and they'll skip trace it for you. Let's speak to their skip tracing for a moment. Most companies aren't pay per match, PPM. This company is. That means that most companies are going to charge you for skip tracing no matter what outcome they have, whether they have a 30% return rate, 70% return rate. Every single address and phone number that's uploaded, whether there's a match or not, you're getting charged. Now, this is a pay per match service, right? So you can save so much money on your skip tracing, average 10, sometimes 15%, or excuse me, 15 cents per skip. So use them for this as well. I mean, this just makes so much sense. This company will help clean up the data that you already have. And that is where the magic's going to happen, because when you do that, now you have the best chance to get a response from those individuals. So do you see now how you're going to get that increased response rate, conversion, get your sales mojo back for yourself or your sales team? Because they're not going to go so many leads of just, junk leads and lack of conversions, and they're burnt out. By the time they get to a real lead, they may not close that because they're so used to people saying no. So you want to increase all of those ROIs and KPIs, and your gross and net profits are going to be larger, right? And then the satisfaction between doing this as a business and your client satisfaction is going to go through the roof. Now, keep in mind, guys, one of the cool things about this, and one of the great things about working through the REI Rockstar newsletter, is you get a discount. So if you're already on the newsletter, you probably already know about this relationship, because I share this with my newsletter first before it goes out to YouTube and Facebook and places like that. So if you're already a member, go ahead and go back to your link or email Dinesh, and he'll send it out to you. Just provide your email address and we'll send you the discount code. If you're not a member, that's okay. It's easy. Just go to the reirockstar.com and we'll get you 20% off Geopoint data. If you don't want to become a member, hey, that's okay too. If you just want this particular discount, again, just email Dinesh at dinesh.thereirockstar@gmail.com. Let him know you'd like to get that discount, and he'll send it right over to you. But I would definitely appreciate, if you appreciate these nuggets that I've dropped along the way of how to take your list and bring it back from the dead, I would definitely appreciate a like and a share, guys. So here's the 2 mind-blowing mail marketing bonuses that I'm going to give to you here. Number 1, you can have another list elsewhere and clean up that stinky data, right? So regardless of where you bought the list, you can send it over to GeoData, use my discount, skip trace that list, and then go ahead and send out wherever you got that list from, send out a postcard or whatever, right? That's number 1. So you can use them for that. Number 2, regardless of where you got the data, as long as you skip traced it, right? You appended the data and you have phone numbers, whether landlines or cell phones, and you have the email address, you can do so much more with this now, guys. You can turn around and offer Facebook ads to that list. So not only are you targeting them and sending them direct mail with a high response rate and high conversion rate, but your Facebook ads, your ads online, your digital marketing are then going to have a higher response rate. Because now you're not just going and trusting Facebook's algorithm of home ownership and age this and city that. You can add an audience, a custom audience, by uploading the list. Have your digital marketing team do it for you, or if you're already pretty familiar with Facebook ads, go ahead and handle it yourself. Now you have Facebook ads running and sending traffic to your site, and of course use the Facebook pixels so you can then go ahead and retarget them. Same thing, take that same list you got from Geopoint data, and use their call service. They offer a call service where they'll cold call this list, right? Same thing, text message blast through maybe Lead Sherpa, right? Or a Ringus voicemail. You see how you're getting the maximum. You're taking every little bit of that towel and you're squeezing out every drop of profit from the list you just invested in. So $260 can go quite far, not only offline, but online as well. So guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this particular video. I hope you've learned a ton and definitely been updated on what's going on in the marketplace. Listen, don't forget to floss. If you liked what you saw here, go ahead and tag, follow me, like, opt in, share, and subscribe the video. I would definitely appreciate that if you subscribe to my channel. And again, just send an email over to Dinesh and say, hey, I was able to subscribe to the newsletter. I'd like to get this code, and we'll send it right over to you. It's the REI Rockstar checking out. Have yourself a blessed day.